Hey there, algebra students. It is Miss Broad again. We are on page 58, and this is video 23, part 1. So you're going to have two parts to video number 23. This is just part 1. So it says, so far we have solved linear equations to find their solutions in two ways. One way was graphically. So we went through and graphed our linear functions into lines, and then we found their point of intersection. And the other way was algebraically by the method of substitution. So what we're getting into today is the method of elimination. So number 1 says to find the value of y and the solution of, and they give us two linear functions. So when we have two linear functions and we need to solve them algebraically, because I don't have the x by itself or the y by itself in either equation, I'm going to use the method of elimination. So what I do first to eliminate is I write the equations one on top of the other. I'm looking to eliminate. Eliminate means cancel, right? So in order to cancel, I have to have the same number in front of the variables. So I have an invisible 1 in front of both of my x's. But I can't eliminate those because I need one to be a positive and one to be a negative, but those are both positive. But if I take a look at my y, I have a positive 1y and a negative 1y. So I can actually eliminate or cancel out those y's. And then we go through and combine like terms. So now I have 1x plus 1x, which gives me 2x. And then we have 3 plus negative 9, which is negative 6. I'm solving for x, so I divide each side by 2. And x equals negative 3. So remember, the question said to find the value of y. So just like we did in our substitution method, now that I have my x, I can plug it into either equation and find y. I'm going to take the first equation because there's no negatives. So where x is, since x equals negative 3, I'm going to put negative 3 right in for x. And I'm solving for y. So again, because x equals negative 3, I'm just plugging this in to this x right here and solving for y. So I want to add 3 to each side of my equal sign. So y equals 6. Number 2 says, what is the solution to the system of equations? So when we're graphing and solving by substitution, we were finding the solution, which is a point or a coordinate. So I need to find my x and my y. Again, I don't have x and y alone in either of these, so I'm not going to use substitution. I'm going to use the method of elimination. So I write one equation on top of the other. And remember, I need to have the same number in front of the variable, one positive and one negative. So in front of my y, I don't have the same number. But in front of my x's, I do. One is a positive, one is a negative. And the reason you need that is so that it cancels out to get you 0. So 2 plus negative 2 or 2 minus 2 is 0, so they cancel out. So now we go through and we combine like terms. So negative 4y plus 6y will give us 2y. And then 10 plus negative 4 or 10 minus 4 is 6. I'm solving for y, so I divide each side by 2, and y equals 3. So remember, when we first started question number 2, we said we need to find a solution, which means a point. So right now I have my y value. I still need to find my x value. So you can use either equation. I'm going to use the first equation, again, because there's less negatives. It's just my personal preference. You will get the same answer if you use the second equation. So if 3 equals y, where y is, I'm plugging in the 3 this time. So I have 2x minus 4 times 3, right? Because the negative 4 and the y were being multiplied, So now that I'm subbing 3 in for y, I'm multiplying -4 and 3. And we solve this for x. So I'm going to multiply -4 times 3 first. So that gives me a -12. I want to get x by itself. So everything without an x, I'm adding to the same side. So now I have 2x equals 22. And then my last step is to divide each side by 2. And we get x equals 11. You're so close to being done, but remember we wanted to write this as a point. So this is the point 11 because x comes first, x is 11, and my y value is 3. So your answer to number 2 is 11.3. All right, we're gonna go over to page 59. We're looking at page 59 right now. Number 3. Number 3 says, what is the point of intersection? Remember, a point is my x and my y value. Of the lines 2x plus y equals 3 and -2x plus y equals 1. So because I don't have the y or the x alone on one side of the equal sign, I don't want to use substitution. So I need to use elimination, which means I'm stacking my equations one on top of the other. So I need the same number in front of my variable, which I have with my y's, but one needs to be positive and one needs to be negative. Since my y's are both positive, I can't cancel those out. But in front of my x's, I have a +2 and a -2, which would give me 0, so those cancel. Then I have y plus y, which is 2y, and 3 plus 1 is 4. Divide each side by 2, and y equals 2. So remember, our goal is to find a point of intersection. So I'm taking 2 and plugging it in for y in order to find x. I'm going to take the first equation because there's no negatives. And where y is, I'm substituting in 2. So now I have 2x plus y is equal to 2, so plus 2 equals 3. I'm solving this for x. So I want everything without an x on the same side, so I'm subtracting 2 from each side. So now I have 2x equals 1. Divide each side by 2. Be careful here, 1 divided by 2 is not 2. It's either a half or 0.5. I'm going to put 0.5. And again, we are not done here. So we need to write it as a point. My x value comes first, and then my y value. So right now, you are going to go to page 62, and you're going to do number 1. So you're going to go to page 62. You're doing number 1 on page 62 and submitting that in video number 23 picture. As always, if you have any questions, please message your teacher. Thanks for watching.